Straight facts, no chaser. So I saw an interview with Hannity and Stephen A. And Stephen A. said some egregious shit. Not based in fact, not rooted in fact, none whatsoever. It was all fucking feelings.
As much as people may have been abhorred by Donald Trump's statement weeks ago, talking about how black folks, he's hearing that black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what black Americans have gone through. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. When you see the law enforcement, the court system, and everything else being exercised against him, it is something that black folks throughout this nation can relate to with some of our historic, iconic figures.
First, you have to believe that Donald Trump is being persecuted to be able to believe any of the bullshit that Stephen A. was spewing. He literally said that Donald Trump wasn't lying. We know Donald Trump lies about everything. So why would Stephen A. say that he wasn't lying about black people associating themselves with him based off of persecution? How? Donald Trump has been a 100% supporter of the persecution of black people his entire life. Wouldn't allow black people who worked hard enough to be able to afford his properties and still couldn't get in because a C was attached to their name, despite how much money they had. Can't live here. Racist. The Central Park 5 kids charged with a crime that they didn't commit. Donald Trump was 100% down in persecuting these men. When it was found out that they were innocent, he still was down for the persecution of innocent black men for a crime they never committed. And you're telling me black people can associate with that? A white man that was down for persecution of black folks. So much so, this man put out an ad campaign for $85,000 that incorporated a full-page ad calling for not only the persecution, but for the death penalty of innocent black young boys. And when they were found to be innocent of said crime, this motherfucker did not recant the fact that he wanted their lives to be taken from them for a crime they did not commit. He thought they were still guilty of something, so the death penalty still applies. Yeah. And you want us to believe that you give a fuck about black people and that black people really believe that this man is being persecuted? The head persecutor in chief. And you want to sit here and say, oh, we feel bad now for Massa. You sound like your name, Steven from Django. You gonna sit here and act like we give a fuck about a man who literally persecuted black people, wanted them murdered for a crime they did not commit, and kept it up even after they found out these men never did said crime. And you give him the benefit of the doubt? I think he caused problems when he was president. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Democrats need to pay attention. Negro, please. You are part of the problem that liberals and Democrats have. You got people like yourself that's always playing the fence. You quick to love a team and be a person who says the other team is the enemy. You ain't trying to give them a point or nothing. You don't want them to win. Whenever they're on the court, you don't want them to win. But black people are telling you, we are on a team because we want to have some wins, not zero wins. And you're asking black people to look on the other team that's an absolute loser for us. Where we're on this side, we've had wins. On that side, we ain't had nothing but straight up motherfucking goose eggs. And you want us to research and think about the losing squad. Negro, please. Republicans ain't did shit for us. It's a reason why these motherfucking Republicans always go back to Lincoln whenever they talk about doing shit for black folks. You understand it was 1863, and they keep holding on to it like it was yesterday. The 13th Amendment, you know, the ones they're trying to get rid of again. If you don't shut the fuck up trying to act like you sometimes, stay on the court. Politics ain't your game, baby. Stay on the court, because your politics suck. Stephen A., I don't know where you get your facts from, because you can't Google them. Because they're non-existent. Martin Luther King fought for our rights and got arrested by racists who persecuted him. Malcolm X persecuted for wanting the rights of black people to be the same, treated fairly, and also assassinated. Both. And you're talking about Donald Trump and bringing up their names, yet they're saying, I'm not trying to bring up him as a comparison. The Negro, why'd you bring up their names if it ain't comparing them? We ain't talking about neither one of those two. We're talking about Donald Trump. And for you to bring up their names, that means you're comparing them. Motherfucker, how don't you know what comparisons mean? You want us to listen to you and you don't understand what comparisons are? You compared them. Donald Trump is in trouble because he broke laws. And then you try to bring up some other laws. Yeah, the one in this town, in this state, those are good, but this one right here. So now you're into picking and choosing which laws are appropriate. I think you need to go to the House, the Senate, right? Then the president to change the fucking laws, Stephen A. You don't change them because your feelings. Just because you would pay for a porn star and you feel all guilty like I shouldn't be charged for doing that. That's not what's happening, bruh. Get out your feelings. What happened was this man has 34 counts against him for falsifying business records, saying that he paid off a porn star was a business expense. Was not a business expense. It was literally to hide the fact to his wife and to the public that he had a affair or a one-night stand with a porn star. And he wanted to hide that so that it wouldn't affect his chances at becoming the president. That is against the law, has been against the law since 1965 or some shit like that. And any of them that have broke this law have been charged. And I don't know why you're trying to make it seem like they just created this motherfucking law just for Trump. Everybody can get it if they do exactly what he did. The law has been around for a long time, Stephen A. A long time before Donald Trump had aspirations to be the president of these United States. So quit simping for Trump. Let this motherfucker face the laws in which they were placed for all people to face. It's just that simple. And now, you think us black people give a fuck that Donald Trump is in the clog that white men and women made a law decades ago to regulate themselves? Black people had nothing to do with it. And you want black people to step in and tell them to stop doing what the law is doing to all people. Anybody can get it. But all of a sudden Donald Trump gets in there and black people will feel bad for him. You know what this reminds me of? The slave owner, where these sellout slaves felt bad for the slave owner when the slaves decided to revolt and take the slave owner out. That slave sitting around crying over massa. You mean the same one that raped you? The same one that you got 3 kids by? The same one that beat you, the scars on your back? The same one because you blind in the other eye because he beat you almost to death one time? The same one that pushed you and knocked you down a little mountain. That's why you crippled a little bit. You walk with a limp. That's the same motherfucker you crying over? That's you, Stephen A. You that little slave crying over the slave owner while everybody else is escaping for freedom. You want to sit around and listen to this motherfucker die. Cry over him. That's you. And that ain't an alpha. That's straight bitch. We ain't supposed to be sitting here crying over Donald Trump because he got caught up in his own system. That motherfucker believes in that system when it's applied to your black ass and mine. When it's applied to him, all of a sudden there's something wrong with the laws. Nah, Negro, you don't get to be on both sides of this fence. Pick a side, bitch, and stay on it. We ain't got time for motherfucking flip-floppers. Keep your little fishy ass on one side or the other. Go over there and swim with those fishes. Over here, we alphas. You might get ate up. I speak facts. Straight facts. No chaser. Fuck your feelings.